I'm going to start with that guy you're not excited to see, Max Kellerman over there. Max, do you think Hurts' performance means that Wentz is officially done, that his time is up there?
Yes. And Doug Peterson, what is he talking about? He'll have a decision tomorrow. I mean, how slow can you be to have a decision by tomorrow? The decision's over. It's been over. There are two different stories here. There's Carson today, right? There's Carson Wentz and there's Jalen Hurts. Where do you want to start? Let's start with Jalen Hurts because he played last night, right? 3 touchdowns in the first half. 5 touchdowns now against no interceptions, right? And this with the offensive line and the skills position players that Wentz apologist Orlovsky have been pointing to make apologies for Wentz. Same people. Why is that going on? By the way, you know why he had the most chunk plays since? You know, the last time an Eagles quarterback had 3 touchdowns in the first half since? Nick Foles, both times. Nick Foles. Same players Carson Wentz had. Nick Foles. So Nick Foles is doing it. Jalen Hurts is doing it. No, Jalen Hurts, by the way, you want to talk about his performance. Everything that could go wrong went wrong early. Intentional grounding in the end zone and a block punt. You look up at 16-0. Did he give up or did he persevere? He was accurate all day. This whole time I was saying, Hurts must be showing nothing in practice. I'm starting to think it was the opposite. I'm starting to think he was showing stuff in practice. And this decision was too long coming. Now, from Carson Wentz's point of view, Carson Wentz, he leaks now that Hurts is making his second start. Now you want to leak that? If that's Wentz leaking, and why would it be in the best interest of the other side of the team to leak? That's ridiculous. Why would it be? They wouldn't. Now you want to do that? It's a bad teammate. Guys, that's a bad leader. It's not a leader. You're pouting. You don't agree with the decision. You've been the worst starting quarterback in football this year. And every time another guy plays, be it Nick Foles or now Jalen Hurts, or even you talk about a 40-year-old quarterback on one leg in the playoffs, there's no perceptible drop-off between your play and theirs. And in fact, frequently the team plays better. And you're complaining you're not okay with being a backup? You got no choice. No team's going to trade for you. Everyone knows that's an unmovable contract. Oh, yeah, of course you play Jalen Hurts. Of course Wentz is done as a starter. This is obvious. It's a long time coming. I warned you every step of the way how to correct it. No one corrected it. This is where we are. Jalen Hurts ain't perfect, but it is his job to lose.
Well, I disagree with that. It's his job for the rest of the season as well as it should be, and we need to find out more from him. I'm very impressed with what I've seen from him the last 2 games. He deserves major props because I didn't anticipate seeing that. I'm also paying attention to the fact that in the 2 games that Jalen Hurts has started this year, last week against New Orleans, this week against Arizona, he's rushed 29 times for 169 yards. And he outrushed Kyler Murray yesterday and Taysom Hill the week before. I'm paying attention to that because that makes you a dual threat at the quarterback position. So let's give credit where credit is due. Let's understand that what Jalen Hurts has earned the right to do is to continue to move forward as the quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles in this lost season. Because the season is lost. It's pretty much over for the Philadelphia Eagles. We all know this, so let's just move on. Let's find out what this guy is. But I have no problem with Carson Wentz not wanting to be a backup. He just signed for $107.9 million guaranteed less than 2 years ago. He's going to count about $59 million against the cap in the event that they let him go. They're stuck with him for next year. If I'm Carson Wentz and I know that I'm going to be here next year, or the likelihood is that I'm going to be there next year, with the money that they've committed to me, yes, I've played like straight garbage. I need to recognize that. I need to recognize whether it was Nick Foles or anybody else, and now Jalen Hurts, and people were more receptive to them than being that way towards me. I really need to look in the mirror and check myself. But by no means should he sit up there and concede. This is Jalen Hurts' job, and moving forward into next season, coming into next season, I'm going to be a backup. I'm not going to be the starting quarterback for this team. No, I don't think he should have that attitude at all, and I don't have anything against him for that. This season, now that it's lost, and he had a lot to do with it being lost, that's one thing. But moving beyond this season, I have no problem with him having that kind of competitive fervor in his mind's eye because that's the way he should feel.
Yeah, Stephen, I love you. I just don't see how there's any chance that he takes another snap for the Philadelphia Eagles. Carson Wentz.
I understand that.
I have no idea. I have no idea how they could sit there and give him the opportunity to be their starting quarterback again. I don't think he wants to be there, and I don't think that they can, believe that that would be a healthy situation. This is a divorce that's going to be very pricey, and it's going to be very ugly, but it's here. You mentioned the opportunity that Jalen Hurts has gotten was in part because Carson's poor play. But what I've kind of started to realize over the past couple weeks is how ugly this has been off the field. You hear of the lack of leadership. You hear of the selfishness. Then the report comes out this weekend. This is not a healthy situation by any means within the organization. And there's a lot of moving parts to it. And there's a lot of sacred parts of a football team, one being the locker room. But one of the most sacred parts in areas is a quarterback room. And I've been a part of some really, really awesome quarterback rooms that, I know the room had a positive impact on the starters' play. It wasn't combative. It was still incredibly competitive, but it was one that was very healthy. I have no idea how they both can be in a healthy quarterback room where one, Carson Wentz isn't looking over his shoulder because that's been happening since the draft pick was made, looking over his shoulder, and another, Jalen Hurts, if he's going to play well over the next 2 weeks, I have no reason to think he won't, is going, why am I not the starting quarterback? Why would I not be the guy that can lead this football team? I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to give up the starting quarterback job. I've said this multiple times. I believe in Carson Wentz's talent. I'll be very clear. Carson Wentz can still physically play in this league. But I want everyone to understand how quarterbacks think. We are very territorial. From a very early on age, we get told by our coaches, when you walk in the huddle, that's your football team. Everybody has eyes on you. You got to take leadership. Those are your guys, right? That's from when you start playing quarterback, that's the stuff you hear. And so when we walk out on the field, that's my football team. Those are my guys. 2017, he's the runaway MVP. Everyone knows. The injury happens. He watches another guy take his family to Disney World, right? So what did that do to him? 2018, he gets back from that injury. Plays good football, watches another guy take his family. That same guy takes his family to Disney World. What does that do? What does that do to him mentally? 2019 happens, puts the team on the back, carries them to the playoffs, gets hurt. What did that do to him? Where is he with doubt? Where is he with self-belief? And then the second round pick happens. He can still physically play, but you have to figure out where he is mentally. City.
Dan.
That city is tough. Steve, you know this as well as anybody. I don't think that he could ever play in Philly again because he's got to figure out where he is with his mental toughness more than his ability on the field.
Dan, to me, that's exact. You started out with the right response, but all those explanations or really excuses or apologies for how he got here, that's the problem. What we have seen unequivocally now is Peterson can coach. With anyone but Carson Wentz, he can really coach, except for a stretch in 2017. That's because Wentz won't run his offense. He won't run the offense. He has the most turnover-worthy plays in the NFL. He hasn't thrown a ball in 9 quarters. And he still has the most turnover-worthy plays. Why is it that Josh McCown, they don't lose a beat in the playoffs? The offense functioned just as well. They lost to the team that they lost to in the regular season, Week 12, by the same margin. With McCown, Wentz, it didn't matter. Why is it that Foles, the team caught fire the year after the Super Bowl, that he won Super Bowl MVP? Why is it that you're seeing Hurts do right now? And you want to blame it on somehow, because this is why Wentz is losing confidence? Dan, he put this stuff out the day of Jalen Hurts' second start?
Right.
That's a bad teammate on top of everything else.
But
it's on top of everything else.
Go ahead.
I'm saying it's on top of everything
Let's take
else.
it to. Hold on. Let's throw the numbers out there. You can appreciate that, Max. It talks about if they let him go prior to June 1st, it's a $59 million cap hit.
Right.
If they let him go post June 1st, it diminishes to 34. But he's scheduled to make about $10 million bonus and $15.4 million in base salary. So you're talking about automatically paying this brother $25 million. He getting $25 million, okay? So let's look at this for a second here. Jalen Hurts, we appreciate what he's done, but he's completing 55% of his passes. He's had some very good moments. He's had not so good moments. The key thing is that he's running with the football effectively, so he's making them a dual threat, and we can't ignore that. But what we have to pay attention to, guys, is this. That's now. Season's lost. Let's see what you got. Dudes inspired to play for him. You've got a nothing to lose mentality because y'all are out of the picture because y'all just look awful. In the worst division in the history of the National Football League, y'all are still arguably the worst of the worst. And if you're looking at it from that perspective, well, you know how they say, if you're playing with pressure when things really, really matter, pressure breaks pipes. Palms get sweaty, other things get tight. You understand how that goes. That's not the situation that the Eagles are playing under right now. So because of that, you're Jalen Hurts. You go up in there. Let's see what you got for the rest of the season and then decide.